Good evening and welcome to the AIS Arena in Canberra. It's Futsal Premier League Grand Finals day. I'm Russ Gibbs, commentating alongside me is Frank Keisha. Frank, it's the women's final to start with. Boomerangs FS against NCU Navy. Looking forward to this one. Should be a decent match. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Haven't had a chance to see either of these teams throughout the year, but obviously seen a few of these players out in our local outdoor competition, so it's I'm looking forward to it. Played 4 times already this season in a truncated competition. Only 5 teams in the women's comp, and not much between them at all. The first round that they played was a 0-0 draw. Round 6, Boomerangs got up 2-0. Round 11, it was a 1-1 draw, and NCU Navy got up 2-1 in round 15. So 1 win apiece and 2 draws would suggest we're in for a match that's going to go all the way. Well, that looks, obviously looks the case, Russ. I think, based on what I've seen on the players on the lineup, I probably favour the Boomerangs at this stage, but that's a very uneducated point of view. But we're looking forward to seeing how it goes. Well, they did finish top of the ladder, 3 points clear of NCU Navy. Let's have a look at the 2 teams, starting with Boomerangs. They have their squad list. Jessica Giovinazza will be in goal. Rachel Corbett, Michaela Day, Samantha Price, Leah Carnegie, Nicole Jalocca, Ellie Raymond and Maya Blash in their lineup, so plenty of outdoor experience there as well. Yeah, a lot of familiar names there from anyone that's watched any of the NPLW in the recent years, so yeah, looking forward to seeing how they go. NCU Navy have a rather smaller squad, only 6 players from which to select their team this evening. Nat Lacey in goal, Alice Churchill, Talia Stanley, Rebecca Keating, Catherine Thurber and Freya Jacobson. How much will those numbers hurt them in the long term, do you think, Frank? Well, that's the thing that stood out to me straight away when I saw the team list come out, was the fact that there was only one sub for the Navy side. I think that potentially could hurt them in the back end of the game. I hope it doesn't come to that. Let's just hope that the best team wins without relying on fatigue. But yeah, very, very strange for me to see someone come up to a grand final with just a 1 sub. Yeah, unfortunately, injury and unavailability means that 5 of their players aren't here for the grand final, unfortunately. This is the first of a double-header. We've got the men's grand final coming up after this, Prawns versus Timberwolves. Should be a good match as well, but our focus is on the women's competition at the moment. The match officials, Hope O'Leary and Jackson Tippett, and Carla Martin is the 3rd official as well, so we're looking forward to this match. Grand final day is always pretty tricky, and the nerves come in for most of these clubs, these sides as well, but as I mentioned just a moment ago, there's an awful lot of experience out there. They've been there and done it, all of these players, so that really shouldn't get the better of them. Absolutely, and if they wanted to get any more nervous, I think women's coaching royalty has just walked in with Ante Uric just walking in and taking his seat on the stand, though. So I'm sure he'll be running his eye over some of these players as well. Nick Van Alst is the coach of the Boomerangs, and Jason Farrell coaches NCU Navy. You'll see the teams come out in a moment. Boomerangs will be in the light blue shirts. NCU Navy, as their name would suggest, in the navy shirts with a bit of red trim as well. Boomerangs have only lost this season was to NCU Navy in that round 15 clash, and the Navy themselves only lost twice. Boomerangs in round 6 2-0, and they lost to Wanderers 2.0 4-2 in round 13 as well. Only the 5 teams in this competition, but sometimes, Frank, that makes it harder to call, doesn't it? Because they play each other so many times that they become used to each other's styles. Yeah, it does, and regardless of whether it's 5 teams in a comp or not, like there's always going to be nerves at a grand final, and even though all the players look like they're in pretty good spirits, I'm sure there's nerves, but they're hiding their nerves at the moment. There's your match officials for the game, as I mentioned, and that's Michaela Day, the Boomerang skipper, as Navy shake hands. Only difference between normal futsal is 1 timeout each per half per team. Sometimes that can be used judiciously, and that can make a big difference depending on how the game's going, and it's up to the coaches obviously to pick that time when to call that time out. Yeah, I'm sure that's it's very important, and whether or not that's to build momentum or break momentum of the opposition side, or just to get a message across, I think you'd be pretty you'd be very, very considered around how you would use that time out. If the game is level at the end of normal time, we'll have extra time of 3 minutes each way. Doesn't sound a lot, does it? But in futsal, that's plenty of time for a goal. Yeah, well, just taking note of what we've been doing in our pre-season at Canberra Olympic outdoor, like that 3 minutes can make a big difference. Just ask any of these players that are on the back end of that 3 minutes, and like we said, Navy with just the 1 sub, that 3 minutes could become really, really important if it gets to that. Start of a big week of football here in Canberra. You can watch it all live on Bar TV Sports. Friday night from Deakin Stadium, Canberra FC against Gungahlin United in the Charity Shield, the traditional curtain raiser to start the season. Saturday afternoon, Women's National Premier League gets underway. 3:15, Belconnen United versus Canberra FC, a repeat of last year's grand final. And the weekend ends with a cup doubleheader on Super Sunday. Canberra Olympic versus Queanbeyan City at 3 o'clock. Cooma Tigers versus Monero Panthers at 6 o'clock, both from Woden Park. And Canberra Olympic, your team, Frank, looking to avoid a cup set at the hands of Queanbeyan.
Yeah, thanks for that. Obviously, we're playing one of the better sides that have come through NPL2. They're well coached, with Goran Josifovsky in charge. They're obviously well organised and they've got a lot of ability. So, yeah, it's something that we're taking quite seriously as well.
Something to look forward to a bit later on. It's women's futsal here in the AIS Arena. The training hall's here, just by the basketball courts. Was watching some members of the Australian women's basketball team landing an awful lot of three-pointers.
Making you look very short.
Absolutely. So here we go. Leah Carnegie over the ball with Sam Price, ready to get us underway. Day and Corbett, the other two on the park for this opening start. And it will be the blue-shirted team that finished top of the pile that gets us underway. Futsal obviously a little bit quicker and truncated space. Here's Keating. Churchill. Keating again. First touch for Jacobson. Keating's ball forwards. And all the way back to Nat Lacey. Possession, of course, really important in futsal, Frank.
Yeah, I'm pretty limited with my experience with futsal, but...
Well, there's a chance straight away, in fact, for Churchill. She's got in. That's a decent save from Giovanazzo to push it onto the post. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're right. But obviously, like you can see, Boomerangs are just sort of sitting back a little bit and just allowing Navy to get a foothold with the ball, and they actually exposed them a little bit there with that first opportunity. Good save.
It was pushed onto the post from Giovanazzo. Shot comes in from Corbett, and that's straight into the midriff of Talia Stanley, and she wore that one. Brave block.
And this is when your first subs come important, I think.
Yeah, very winded, I think. Yeah, that was a decent strike.
Let's hope she recovers quickly.
Bit of an apology there from Rachel Corbett.
Always good to see.
You see the replay there, wore it right in the stomach. Left foot hit from Corbett. Straight in the stomach, and certainly winded Talia Stanley. She'll be all right there, quick drink of water. Upshot is the Navy ball there.
I imagine they'll give it back.
Back we go again then. Here's Corbett. Day. A Price playing it forward. Carnegie tried to turn. It was Jacobson who was in the way. Results, as I said, between the two suggest we're not going to get too many goals.
Yeah, which is why that opening chance that Navy had was probably significant.
Price shooting chance for her and a decent block from Keating. In the 4 games between them this season, only the 7 goals. Corbett again, looking for a shooting opening, and Day tried to tiptoe her way through. Jacobson finds Stanley. Ball forward to Churchill. Decent defence from both sides. Not much space at the moment. Here's Keating again.
Pretty cagey beginning, isn't it, Russ? It's
what you'd expect from a final, I guess. A lot of it coming through Beck Keating in the pivot role at the quarterback, if you like. Yeah. Back there, she's dictating the pace and the tempo for NCU Navy. North Canberra Untouchables Futsal Club. Here's Churchill, tries to turn Price, gets a shot away, but not going to trouble Giovanazzo on that occasion. Got a dangerous left foot though, Alice Churchill. We've seen it in outdoors.
Yeah, just having a look. There we go.
Chance for Day. She's got in. Opportunity here, and it's just gone away from Carnegie. And it's a good hand from Nat Lacey to push it away, and Carnegie was unable to get the tap in.
Yeah. And, yeah, corner here for the Boomerangs.
They'll go short, but Keating's there. So chances at both ends to start this final off. They tried to be a little bit too clever.
What are the odds of this game producing more goals than they've produced all season between the two sides?
Well, it's open so far.
It is.
Surprisingly so, even though we just say it's quite cagey. There has been one good chance at
Both ends.
each ends. Here's Day looking to turn. Good ball through. Corbett, dancing feet, gets a shot away, and again it's blocked.
Yeah,
This time by Churchill.
Great little ball there into the feet of the striker.
Day
She's done it again.
gets it back once more. Still not opening up for her though. Mickey Day onto that left foot. Bet Keating's seen that before though. Carnegie. Price. Just to get it back from Corbett. Sold her a little short, but wins it back in the ricochet that followed. Early stages, of course.
Yep, Boomerangs looking to utilise their bench early.
On a mistake here and an opportunity perhaps for Corbett if she pulls it back for Carnegie. And she didn't get enough on it and made it easy for Nat Lacey in the end. No power on the finish. But one slip in this game can cause you all sorts of problems. And the error there almost produced a goal for Leah Carnegie, who's gone close twice now. Churchill. Jacobson. Churchill once more. Navy bossing possession. Keating. Good ball into the channels. Looking to move around the Boomerang's defence. Keating again. Churchill looks for Thurber, who's made the run forward. And she's defended well by Day, but at the expense of a corner. We'll see plenty of changes, Frank, won't we, from even though there's only the one sub on one side and two on the other?
Yeah, I'd imagine so, Ross. And like we said, you know, the idea of utilising their bench is probably going to be something that Boomerangs do as much as possible, keep fresh legs and see if they can expose the lack of numbers that Navy have.
We said three on the Boomerang side, of course. One of them just come on, Ellie Raymonds, wearing shirt number 5. Here is Raymond, first touch. A lot of experience from her as well. Former W League player, Ellie Raymond, played for Canberra United. And
yeah, there's a lot of Canberra United players that obviously would be suited to this. Obviously, technically very proficient.
Hear some of the crowd, the coaches rather, barking out instructions as we wait for the ball to be returned to the court. Fantastic facility here at the AIS.
Oh, it's a great facility. You know, for anyone that's sort of grown up in Canberra, we've grown up with the AIS, and it's always been the place to play your football, whether it's indoor or outdoor. It's still the best facility here available in the city.
Futsal Nationals, a huge part of Canberra in the AIS arena in the past.
And it's always something that we've done very well in. You know, the ability of Canberra to produce futsal internationals and in men's and women's has been something that we should be very proud of. And even win national championships. We've seen a number of ACT sides win national trophies.
Good to see a fair few futsal internationals on show in the men's competition after this. In the meantime, it's still 0-0. Ball towards the far post. Thurber completes the clearance. After that early flurry with chances at both ends, it's tightened up again. Day tried to flick into Raymond's.
Ball movement there.
Excellent work from Boomerangs, and the shot in the end from Leah Carnegie, not on target, but good movement again from Boomerangs. Here's Blash beaten to it by Churchill. Keating. Thurber. Churchill to Thurber again.
Very patient build up from Navy again.
Keating, they will keep the ball for as long as they can, looking for that opening.
Yep.
Found a gap here for Churchill as well, and she might get in here. Alice Churchill denied by Giovannato for the second time.
That's 2 outstanding saves Giovanazzo's made already in this game. And again, the patience that Navy are displaying when they've got possession, and they're getting some joy out of it.
Another good chance. You can see why there's not been many goals between them this season, because both goalkeepers, Lacey and Giovanazzo, both quality futsal goalkeepers.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not from lack of chances. I mean, it's only early on in this game, and there's been 3 or 4 great chances throughout the match. So
Carnegie tried to free Raymond, held on to the ball just slightly too long. Talia Stanley fully recovered, tried to force her way through.
Yeah, good to see.
Here's Price. Raymond. Good challenge from Thurber. Churchill now. Thurber's gone for the return. Churchill tried to find her, but Raymond read the intentions. And off she goes. Price. Dig the ball forwards. Might get it back here, Price. Asked a lot, though, of Maya Blash. First time we've seen Nicole Jalocca this evening, number 99. Comes onto the court and looking to influence proceedings. No goals. Keating away, perhaps. It's going to roll away there and easy for Giovanazzo.
Keating's playing some game at the moment. She's obviously you can't cover every blade of grass on a futsal court, but gee,
can't cover any blades of glass.
No, none at all. But she's doing a lot of running, Grass.
Both these sides had no trouble finding their net throughout the year. Boomerang 66 goals, NTU Navy 57, but neither conceded much in 14 matches, including the semi-finals. Boomerang's only conceding 11, Navy only conceding 14, and you're seeing why. The two sides are well organised defensively, prepared to bide their time. Thurber, chance path for Jalocca, but the touch let her down, a little bit heavy.
And Navy all seem to stop asking for a handball decision there, and he's lucky that there's a false touch in that build-up.
It's Corbett. Jalocca might come for Corbett here. Good challenge from Stanley, and off she goes. Still going, runs into a blue wall though. Bit of space for Jalocca.
She's made a bit of an impact since she's come on.
Certainly got plenty of skills and quick feet.
Yeah.
Looks for Raymond. And Keating's there once more though. We get a vote towards player of the match, I should say, Frank, at the end of this, and early days, but Beck Keating's name will be in the reckoning, you'd imagine.
You'd say so, and even if you look forward, I think you probably look at key players at both teams and who might be able to be the difference. And you've obviously got Michaela Day on one side and Beck Keating on the other. I think if either side was to get ahead, I think they're going to be involved somewhere.
Jalocca trying to find Corbett. Raymond. Price. Gets it back again, but not quite clicking at the moment for Boomerangs in an attacking sense. Stanley. Now Thurber. Keating. Giving it away. Opportunity perhaps here. Raymond has gone forward. Chance on the far post, and Jalocca somehow doesn't score. Real opportunity for Nicole Jalocca. Goes begging. Good build-up work, but the finish just wasn't there.
And it was very good build-up work, and pretty much a tap-in far post, but hit the frame of the goal, and still it was 0-0.
And here's a chance perhaps for Stanley to get a shot away, and Giovanazzo just pushes it around the post for a corner. Struggling a little, Talia Stanley.
It's been very good though.
Yeah, holding her back, maybe she twinged something in that earlier incident, or it could have been a knock from earlier in the season. Unforgiving on these hard courts. Last thing they can afford is to lose a player.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think both squads have got pretty well qualified physios, one in each team, with Beck Keating and Michaela Day.
He'll be able to look after any bumps and bruises. And we get a timeout. First of the half. Each team gets one timeout. And Frank, better chances, do you think, have come Navy's way? Giovanazzo's had two save to make, but opportunities at the other end as well, and Jalocca perhaps should have scored.
Yeah, I guess what you could say is that the two chances, or the two really good chances that Navy have had, they've been saved by the keeper. Whereas the two really good chances that Boomerangs have had, they both come off the frame of the post, and the keeper's been beaten. So, it depends on which way you look at it, Russ. I would probably just say that in possession, Navy are looking, very, very polished, patient, picking their way through, and when they do get an opportunity, they're doing pretty well. I think Boomerangs obviously are now starting to press a bit higher up the pitch. They're trying to win the ball closer to the goal. And when they do, they're looking pretty dangerous. There's been a couple of times where if the ball just lands at someone's feet, or if they hold their feet, they're in on goal. So I think this back end of the first half will be very interesting to see if that trend continues.
Both teams have coaches in Jason Farrell and Nick Van Alst, who played futsal in the F-League as well, so well versed in what to expect from their two teams, and they've got them well organised. And no goals so far.
Yeah, well, we're sitting right next to the Boomerangs bench, so I'm paying a bit of attention to what Nick's saying. And a lot of the times it's just around relax, just getting the players to settle, which is really interesting. Day
finds Blash, chance here. Shooting chance perhaps for Blash, opportunity! And I think it's an own goal. In fact, I think it may have gone in off Beck Keating in the end. Either way, it's the first goal of the game, and it's gone Boomerang's way.
And I think it's just what we were saying too, Russ. The Boomerangs are pushing a lot higher up the pitch, and they won the ball in the opposition half. And as soon as they have, they've transitioned that into a goal scoring opportunity. And unfortunately for Beck Keating, she's taken the last touch, and it's gone in the back of the net.
She pushed it past her own goalkeeper. Tracking back, trying to help out. I mean, if she hadn't got a foot in there, it was possibly a tap in anyway.
No, more than likely.
But the first goal is an own goal, and it's Boomerangs who lead 1-0.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what that does to Navy psychologically. Their best players just scored an own goal. They're 1-0 down. They don't have the bench that the Boomerangs have, so it'll be interesting to see how this translates in the next couple of minutes.
Blash, who made the goal with her cross shots. Here's Carnegie. Churchill gets in there.
Yeah, and again, you can see Boomerangs have won the ball close, in the opposition half, and they're on the attack again.
Here's Blash, good ball forwards, nicely taken in by Corbett. Day runs into Keating. Doesn't seem too adversely affected by the fact that she split the teams with that own goal.
No, I'm sure Beck will be fine. It's more now whether or not Navy can get back to the way that they were playing before and just be a bit patient again, and not change their style of play just because of what the scoreboard's saying.
Here is Keating. Thurber. Churchill. And Jacobson just took her eye off the ball there for a moment.
Yeah, but you can see noticeably now Boomerangs are really sort of pressing high up pitch. You can hear the Boomerangs coach asking the players to press forward.
It's an uncharacteristic error at the back from Day and turns the ball over. Chance for Navy to build something in this attack. Thurber. On Churchill. Jacobson. Churchill again. Jacobson popped the ball into space, but there was no one in a Navy shirt to take advantage of that.
And that's unfortunate there for Navy, because they actually would have had a 2-on-2 in the Boomerangs half there.
Here's Thurber. Trying to fashion a shooting opportunity if she can. Goes down under the challenge of Blash. And does get a free kick. Took a while to given, didn't it? But I think it's probably the correct decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial defending was really good. I think she maybe just got a touch on the player in the second effort. But interesting, got a free kick just outside the Boomerangs goal.
Here it is again. There was, looked like a little Little hook at the ankle there from Blash on
I think
Thurber.
the initial tackle was okay. It's
Yeah,
just
the second dab shooting chance perhaps though. Jacobson behind it. Churchill's left foot, we mentioned earlier, she can certainly hit them, and she's going to have a go here. Churchill into the wall. Second chance. Maybe there's a break on. But that's good covering. Here's Jacobson. Thurber, 2-on-2 briefly. And Churchill bursting forwards. It's a good thing about futsal as well, Frank, is that you've got to be wary. Even when you're on the attack in transition, you can get caught very quickly and very easily.
Look, we at Olympic, we encourage our players to do this sort of stuff and play, and we don't, we never ever stop them from doing this sort of sport, because we think it just adds to their ability to play outdoor.
Yeah, certainly futsal has been a birthplace for a lot of quality footballers in Australia and around the world.
Yeah, and we've been fortunate because, some clubs aren't the same idea as us, and we've been able to pick up people like Michael Reeves and Cal Smith, who, a few years back when the club position that they were at wasn't allowing them to play indoor, and we were the beneficiaries of that. A few trophies later, and probably for Michael Reeves, nearly 100 odd games at Olympic. Something that we're very fortunate to have.
Stanley tries to bludgeon her way through. Here's Jaloka at the other end. Trying to get it on that right foot for a shot. In fact, she slips it into Raymond. And that's a decent save from Lacey to push it away. Now, can Keating bring it forwards? Day was there to deny her access.
But how quickly did defence turn into attack just then, Russ?
Exactly what we were talking about. Yeah. That transition, you've got to be alert, both front and back.
Russ, I hope you've seen what I've seen.
Big Ange wandering in.
With coffees.
With coffees. It's Churchill on the turn. Chance here, and Giovanazzo denies it for the third time. We're looking for a little bit of a caffeine pick-me-up, weren't we? And Angelo Constantine looks like he's going to provide it for us.
The mailman, he's delivered. It's like Uber Eats for caffeine. How good is it?
That doesn't mean we're going to give him any more of a talk up in the game and following.
Oh, no, probably not.
Here's Thurber looking to get Navy back into this contest. So 1-0 down if you just tuned in. Women's Futsal Premier League Grand Final here on Bar TV Sports. Jaloka got the touch, but it's going to go all the way through to Lacey. Not been without their chances, though.
And he's brought out the big guns. He's got larges.
Just your luck, and someone will have a shot now and knock yours over.
I reckon they must have seen the Porsche pull up to the drive-through and they just got the larges out. What a guy.
Great work from Big Ange. Futsalroo international goalkeeper and coffee deliverer. Another timeout called.
I wonder if it's one of the coffee shops that he owns. Does he own one?
He owns half of Greece, I think.
He probably owns one of the buildings that has a coffee shop.
In fact, that is the half-time whistle that's gone. Can't see, we haven't got a clock on this. My watch stopped. So it is half-time, and Frank, the goal from Beck Keating, the own goal, it separates the two sides, but there's been chances for NCU Navy, and in particular Alice Churchill's had 2 or 3 efforts now, which Giovanazzo's managed to block. So they're still in this, and they're not out of it by a long way.
Yeah, I'd really just like to see Navy get back to what they were doing in the first 5 minutes of that first half, where they were just keeping possession, being patient, and they look really good. They look quite polished. They look very assured of themselves. They didn't fall into any, they didn't, commit to playing a way that the Boomerangs wanted them to play. And compare that to the last sort of 3 or 4 minutes, where Boomerangs were really pressing hard and forcing mistakes and errors. Now, credit to Boomerangs for doing that. It's obviously a coaching tactic change that Nick's employed to push on and start pressing high. But if Navy can get back to what they were doing in the first 5 minutes, then they're going to have more joy than trying to react to what the Boomerangs are doing to them.
20 minutes to find a way back into the contest. The game at the moment's 1-0 to Boomerangs, the own goal from Beck Keating. It'd be unfortunate if it is an own goal that does separate the sides at the end of it, considering the quality that we've seen from both teams. Yeah,
chances are, though, in the grand final, if these guys are 1-0 down with a couple of minutes to go, there's going to be something will open up. I fancy there's going to be more goals in this second half. It'd be interesting if they do get it back to 1-1, then I think it'll tighten right up, and probably I just get the feeling that Boomerangs will put the onus back on themselves to actually look for that winner, and we'll just see how it goes. But I really fancy more goals in this second half.
Alice Churchill's the leading goal scorer for Navy with 12 this season. She got a couple in the semi-final. She was their match winner with the 2 goals against Wanderers in the 2-1 victory. There's plenty of goals for Boomerangs. 7-1 they won their semi-final against Canberra FC. Jalocca with a couple, McEwen and Price also getting 2, and Alex Martins, who's not here this evening, rounding off that. And that does show you that there are goals that we've mentioned throughout this team, and we certainly wouldn't write off NCU Navy just yet.
Oh, absolutely not. There's 1 goal in it. It's and they've had chances. So, this could easily be 3-3 at half time at the moment. But credit to both goalkeepers for the job that they've done. Especially Giovinazzo in the Boomerangs goal. She's pulled out 2 or 3 real goal-stopping chances there. So she's done very, very well.
Work to be done for both coaches at the moment. You can see Jason Farrell going through his tactics board with his side there. We're going to have the men's final following this, Prawns versus Timberwolves, and looking forward to that one. Plenty of good quality on show in both those teams, and at the moment you can see that, as I said, Farrell explaining to his side what he wants from them, and do they need to move the futsal a little bit quicker just to try and break down what is a very well organised Boomerangs defence?
I think, like I said, I think if they can be as patient as they possibly can be, like with the ball, they seem to be just forcing the pass a little bit in that last half of the first half. I think if they can get back to how they were playing, keeping possession, retaining the ball, looking for that spare person, then I think chances will eventuate.
Good news is I've got my stopwatch working again now, so I'll be able to tell you what times are going on in the second half there. That half-time snuck up on us a little bit.
It did.
Very quickly, that first 20 minutes. And
we're actually starting to get a bit of a crowd filing in as well. People after work.
Waiting for the second half to commence. Officials have done a good job so far. Haven't been talking about them, which is also a good thing, Frank.
Always a good sign.
Did mention lots of football on Bar TV Sports this week. Continues on Friday with the Charity Shield, Canberra FC versus Gungahlin United from Deacon's Stadium. You can tune in, kick off at 6:30 for that one, and then Women's Premier League, the grand final rematch Saturday afternoon, Belconnen against Canberra FC at 3:15, and then on Sunday, double header from Woden Park, Canberra Olympic versus Queanbeyan City and Tigers versus Monero. Interesting to see how those Premier League sides get on, and particularly Tigers off the back of their epic trip to Argentina, where they spent 2.5 weeks seeing the sights and training and playing a couple of matches.
I think that'll be a really interesting game. Monero apparently been training the house down. I went and had a look at them play against Woden last week in a pre-season game, and they looked very polished.
Well, back and away, women's futsal, grand final. It's 1-0 at the moment to Boomerangs. The own goal from Beck Keating separating the two sides, and hoping for more goals in this second half. Boomerangs taking the goal to our right in their blue shirts. Raymond. Ball forward to Jalocca. Took it in well, but Jacobson just got a frame in the way to ease Jalocca away from a shooting chance. Churchill, who closest to scoring in the first half for Navy. This might fall for Jalocca. Tried to square it across the face of goal, and Jacobson was there. Raymonds. Corbett's looking to lay it back for Jalocca. Nicely moved this. No one fancies the shot just yet, though. Corbett back to Price. Look at the defence, though. There's no room for anybody. Jalocca shoots from low and hard, and that is a cracking second goal. In the end, someone did shoot. It was Nicole Jalocca. She found the gap, and a minute into the second half, it's 2-0, and that's a huge goal.
Yeah, extremely good, well taken goal. Would have been hard for the keeper to see that through a sea of legs.
It's gone past Churchill and Keating, and no chance for Lacey in the bottom corner, and is a long way back now for the Navy.
Oh.
Well, Keating was away there.
Was she what?
And pulled back, and that's not gone down very well with Jason Farrell. Free kick was the correct decision, but she was clean through on goal.
Give you the tip, Russ. He's taken a lot better than I would.
Could hear the collective groan from both yourself and the coaching staff. Here is Keating. Almost tried to slide it through. It's a decent idea, didn't quite come off.
Idea, wasn't it? Yeah.
Great vision, Beck Keating, and she's shown that today. Nice touch from Corbett. Let's come off of Raymond. Should be NCU Navy ball. These two sides were the pick of the bunch by a mile in the competition this year. Frank, Boomerangs on 34 points, Navy on 31, and then a 16-point gap.
She had a 2-on-1 there.
Wanderers in third. Corbett tries to find it through for Jalocka and denied by Stanley.
Yeah, if Stanley had just taken that first pass and just turned around, she would have realised she had a 2-on-1, but she tried to play it as quickly as she possibly could. Got cut out, and now they're defending.
Looking for a way back into a contest in which they've been very much in. They're 2-0 down though. Here's Price. Has it back again. Gives that one away to Churchill, and off she goes and wins her team a free kick.
She's worked pretty hard as well, to be honest.
Been the standout for the Navy with alongside Keating, hasn't she? And
she's
looks their main goal threat.
Yeah, unfortunate there. If she managed to hold the feet and get through, I think she was a big chance.
Keating goes high. Tried to find the head of Churchill, but difficult to score. Heading goals in futsal don't happen very often. Here's Raymond on the turn. We're going to get a shot away and well defended by Freya Jacobson. Thurber rejoins the fray. Corbett deflects off Thurber, her first contribution since returning to action. Blash with the corner. Corbett went for the chip over the top towards Maya Blash. Didn't work out for her on that occasion though. Thurber's touch, nice. Here's Keating bursting forward. She's got Churchill coming in. Can't quite find her though. Giovinazzo was there, and here's a chance for 2-on-2, but Blash didn't take the ball in her stride.
Great contest down that right wing then, wasn't it, Russ? Deserves a goal. Beck Keating.
The next one, it is a cliche, Frank, but the next one is crucial. If Navy get it, they're right back in the contest. You'd think if Boomerangs get it, it's probably game over.
Yeah, I think you're dead set right, Russ. I think, and it's pretty obvious that if you go 3-0 up, you're hard to catch. But just a bit of a momentum shift if they can get one back.
Well, here's Churchill looking to provide that, but
and they're not without a hope. Like they're creating opportunities, half opportunities. I think if one of these passes just manages to stick, or they can just expose Boomerangs a 2v1, then they're half a chance of getting this back to 2-1.
And he takes a second as well to score. Churchill helps it forward, but easy for Giovinazzo. Price to initiate another attack. Jacobson sent it straight back up the other end of the court there. Keating. Churchill. Thurber tries to spin and get a shot away, and that's good defending from Price.
Very good defending, wasn't it?
Tried to roll the body, use the body to roll a marker. Jacobson shots. Here's Churchill on that left foot, swings it in, but it was out of play. Coming up to 7 minutes gone in the second half. It's eking away time for the Navy if they're to get back into the match. As Keating loses out here, chance of Blash, and Lacey comes out feet first. Good piece of brave goalkeeping.
Exactly the words I was going to use, Russ. I think that was very brave.
Unorthodox, but did the job.
Stanley's come back on for Navy.
Day. Corvetts. Battle with Fred Jacobson. Carnegie just gets the ball out of play. Keating. Jacobson. Look for that ball into Thurber again. It almost worked a couple of moments ago, didn't it?
I think it's obviously a plan that Navy, they deploy someone up top, that they hit their feet and see if they can roll off or even run off them.
Here's Jaloka. Scored the second goal.
And here's a chance of Navy.
Keating bursting forward. Jaloka's back with her in a good battle this. Jaloka had the better of it until she concedes a free kick.
She did really well to get back and defend. But yeah, as soon as the arms locked, that was it.
There's a chance here for Keating to do something. Fairly acute angle for a shot at goal. Stanley's moved in front of the goalkeeper to make it difficult for her. There's Keating, and Giovinazzo did well.
If Stanley had just managed to turn a little bit earlier, she had the ball at her feet.
With such fine margins. There's Jaloka. Blash. Jaloka from Day. Not on the same wavelength as Rachel Corbett. But Keating takes a breather. Sure, she'll have a couple of minutes off and then back on. Here's a chance for Churchill at the other end, lifted over the keeper and just over the crossbar.
That would have been some finish. I thought she had it for a second. Don't know what you think, Russ, but I think just starting to see just some noticeable signs of some fatigue setting in. I mean, obviously Beck's come off for a bit of a breather here, but it's going to be hard for Navy to lift now.
Yeah, both sides looking a little bit leg weary. Still got 12 minutes or so to play. Is Jaloka's shots. And Stanley sends it up the other end of the pitch. Just unfortunate for Navy there. That fell on Churchill's right foot and not the left with the little lob. Decent effort,
for someone who hasn't been exposed to watching her play very much, like you wouldn't have known that she's not a natural right footer or left footer, because she took that very, very well. It's just unfortunate that she just put too much on it.
Credit to Giovinazzo as well for coming out of the goal quick to make an early decision.
And Russ, if we're talking 3-2 on runs, Giovinazzo for mine has to be in that mix.
There's Giovinazzo. Thurber gets a shot away. Just got a delivery of some Woolworths Disney words for my daughter. She'll be very happy about that.
Yeah, for your daughter, Russ, yep.
Yeah, for my collection. The bane of our life, these things from Woolworths and Coles that they give away.
I thought you meant daughters.
She's not quite at that age. I'm sure that's to come. Keating's going to come back into the fray. The final quarter of this grand final, 2-0.
Yeah, I was going to say, Russ, is this last roll of dice now just to get them back, if they can get it back to 2-1, see if they can take it to extra time.
Well, they're going to go throw the kitchen sink at it, aren't they? They're not going to die wandering, and the chance for them to get back into the game. It's 2-0.
It's a grand final. It's you leave it all out there, and if you win, it doesn't matter how hard you work during the day. You're going to wake up with a smile on your face tomorrow, aren't you?
Price tried to force that one through. I've got 9 minutes left on the clock. Shot from Day, couldn't quite keep it down. Strikes the centre excellence sign behind the goal. Lacey goes long. Good win from Day. Equally so from Price. If they are to get back into it, they're going to need to do so soon. And there's always the danger of shipping a third as they go looking for the goal. Nobody called a timeout just yet. There is one per team per half. Price finds Raymond. Day looks for Raymond again. They've worked that quite well, and nobody in a blue shirt on the far post though. Day has it back. Price, plenty of time to turn, and here's an opportunity for Jaloka, but the ball just rolls away. Churchill flicks that one forwards. Raymond was there too. It's a timeout with 11:43 played and Boomerang's leading 2-0. The Beck Keating own goal in the first half and a strike from Nicole Jaloka from distance. It was a decent strike as well. Jason Farrell's got his group together. He's got 9 minutes to get them back into this, Frank. What do you think the message is?
Look, I think you're 2-0 down in a grand final. I think you've got to go all out to get that next goal as quickly as you can and give yourself time to get the equaliser. So, I'm sure he'd be telling him now that you're probably taking the handbrake off a little bit and saying, can we press up a little bit higher up in the field? Can we win the ball closer to the goals? Can we finish every attack with a strike on goal and just see if we can jag one and then restart and put pressure back on Boomerangs. Boomerangs are looking reasonably comfortable, but like we said, there's been a few half opportunities, and it'd be interesting to see if they pull one back. It would be interesting to see what the reaction is like.
Well, just under 10 minutes for them to do so. Farrell's imparted his words of wisdom. Opportunities. Off we go then. Back and away. Thurber tries to turn. A little bit more urgency in Navy's approach to getting the ball.
And I think this is probably almost one of their better chances to get one back. I think Jaloka made a real big difference to me when she was on. She really put herself about. She got the second goal. She's now having a bit of a rest. This is a real opportunity now for Navy.
Stanley finds Churchill. Couldn't quite find Thurber, who's playing more further forwards, which we'd expect.
And Stanley's noticeably limping to come off the field there. So whether or not we see her back, and again we go back down to that scenario that we spoke about at the beginning of the game, just the one sub.
Almost a really good ball from Giovinazzo to find Price there, just skipped away off the surface. Thurber. Her ball towards Keating, and Giovinazzo shows her experience, just lets that roll out of play. And then goes long. Easy for Churchill. She'll be a little bit disappointed she's not kept that in.
Yeah, I think that's probably happened a couple of times just from the defending there from Navy. If they could just secure that first pass rather than...
Here is Churchill. She's just overrun it slightly, and the second touch allowed Giovinazzo to come and get it. Thurber finds Keating. Very lonely at the moment, Beck Keating. Tries to go on her own, still going. Two blue shirts in the way.
Thought she could have played Churchill and maybe looked at a 1-2 there. She
very slow in support, weren't they, at the moment? That's the fatigue you're talking about.
I think so, yeah.
Thurber. Churchill looks to find Keating. Just wicks it back into the middle, and Mickey Day's happy to head it up the other end.
Got a head on a few things here, Mickey, today, the second half especially. She's standing up at the back.
Thurber. Churchill. Jacobson have made the run, but Day's in the way once more. Almost found Splash down the line. Just under 6 minutes to go. Here's Thurber trying to spin and turn. She's got the ball back, but nobody in a Navy shirt in support. Just over your screen there, it is Navy ball. Just out of shot. They go short, shot comes in. It's Keating that hits it. Looking to go short perhaps again, they do. Keating once more. This time she swings it in, but it's deflected. And Giovinazzo tries to find Price. Who runs into Thurber. Wins the ball. Looks to go quickly. Well, almost caught Navy napping, but here's Churchill. But Jacobson up in support, but just prodded the ball slightly too far ahead.
It's another one of those little half chances. Just if they can get one of these passes to stick. But they're really going to have to be calling on the extra reserves of energy now.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes to find a goal. Thurberg wins it. Boomerangs, who, as we said, did finish top of the pile, came into the match as favourites, justifying that tag at the moment. 2-0 up. Churchill tries to force her way through. Chance here for Alice Churchill, but she's blazed it just wide.
There was a chance, I think, Russ. I think if they were going to get back into the game, that needed to be taken.
Real opportunity.
And
Churchill again.
She's deserved a goal.
Meanwhile, Jaloka, who scored the second goal. Jacobson sticks to her like glue. No room for Nicole Jaloka. It's not been Churchill's night in front of goal, has it?
No, and she did everything right leading into that. Just took that shot with the left foot, obviously curled it wide.
Keating. Redmond was there.
She's been tireless, Redmond.
Stanley joins the fray for Churchill with 3.5 minutes to play. Time against Navy. Almost Thurber in behind Raymond, but Raymond did exceptionally well to stick a leg out.
Yeah, that was really good defending there.
And it's a chance again, but Raymond's is quickest to it.
Not taking any chances.
Just smashing that one away. There's 3 minutes to go. To start thinking about our 3-2-1s at some stage, Frank. Keating. Jacobson. Raymond was there. Corbett gets a foot in. Well, they're certainly giving it a go.
Step wide, girls, step wide. Katie in front, come to you.
Time ticking away though, less than 2.5 minutes of game time to go. And it's a free kick to Boomerangs, and they will be in no real rush to get anything forward. They lead 2-0, and they're close to securing another Futsal Premier League crown. If the Navy are going to do it, they're going to be doing it very, very quickly. Jaloka's ball forward now. Day skips away from Churchill, looks to pull it back on. Jaloka couldn't quite get on the end of it.
Outstanding from Nikki Day. She's been really solid all game. Probably one of the first few times she's got forward and really shown, you know, her technical ability, but she's been a real leader out there for the Boomerang side.
At the moment, though, it's goals from Keating's own goal and a cracking finish from Nicole Jaloka, who's made a big difference in her time on the court. Here is Jaloka, looking to slide it through and get a return pass, entering the final minute or so. It looks like it's going to be Boomerang's day.
Did you plan to say that, Ross?
I didn't.
Not bad.
I apologise
I'll give you that.
in advance. Here is day. It's evening anyway, so. Well, they're giving it their all, NTU Navy, and they've been unfortunate.
Look, hats off to both sides and both coaches. Both look like they've obviously been deserving to make it this far. They've both been playing very well. It's been a very good contest. Grand final can go either way.
Looks like it's going in the way of those in the light blue shirts rather than the dark blue. Jaloka, foot in from Churchill, who's worked really hard, tirelessly. As we enter the final few seconds of the contest, there it is. The final whistle goes, and it is Boomerangs FS who win the Women's Premier League Grand Final by 2-0. Frank, it was a close-fought contest, and on another day, NCU Navy take their chances and they come out on top, but Boomerangs did just enough with some quality futsal and a second goal that was worthy of winning the contest.
Absolutely, and it's one of those ones where you say, like, it was well deserved, but I think both teams deserve, an equal amount of praise. They both did really, really well. They both worked tirelessly. I think both sets of players should be very proud of their efforts, and both sets of coaches should be very proud to at least make it through to this stage. And I'm sure they're pretty happy with the players that they've got at their disposal tonight, and they know that they're giving their all.
Jessie Giovanazzo making a couple of early saves from Alice Churchill to keep her team in it. An own goal, unfortunately, turned into her own net by Beck Keating just before half-time. Gave Boomerangs a lead. The second goal, clinically finished from Nicole Jocker through a forest of legs, sealed it in the second half. We're going to take a slight break, Frank, while the trophy presentation goes ahead, and we'll be back for the men's grand final a little bit later. It's finished here in the Women's Futsal Premier League grand final. Boomerangs FS2, NCU Navy 0. Welcome back to the AIS training halls. It's men's grand final time, a little bit later than scheduled. Sat here, I'm Russ Gibbs with Frank Keisha again. Frank, watch the women's final. Now it's the turn of the men. It's the Prawns versus the Timberwolves. And it's a dynasty on one side, the Prawns there, and the Timberwolves looking to reverse a trend. It's seen them beaten for the last 5 years or so by the Prawns in the semi-final stage. So they've gone one stage further this time, and they'll be looking to upset the apple cart and try and take home the trophy.
Yeah, obviously, Super Prawns there with a lot of ex-Canberra Olympic players, and even a couple of current Canberra Olympic players have been familiar with these courts for a number of years and won a lot of trophies in that time. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the Timberwolves come up against them.
The Prawns team will wear the green and Timberwolves in the blue. They'll be coming out. Crowds build up okay, isn't it?
It's good.
Reasonable little crowd in here now, waiting to see this match. In the middle of your screen there is Anthony Jagarinic from Belcoin United, Katie Woodman next to him, and Caitlin Munoz come along to watch.
Yep, surrounded with a couple of the winning boomerang players from the previous game.
Here's the two teams taking to the court. Timberwolves will line up with Jamie Richardson in goal. Their squad: William Shepherd, Ashley Blount, Tony Alexovsky, Matthew Zeitelhofer, Michael Nolan, Thomas Zeitelhofer, and Michael Southam. The Prawns: Angelo Constantinou, their goalkeeper, Stephen Dominici, Daniel Fulton, Ryan Keir, Goran Jozefowski, Trent Flanagan, Elias Saloom, and Pat Ross McGee. A veritable who's who of Canberra futsal in that Prawns lineup, and plenty of international experience as well. And you'd have to say they're heavy favourites.
Yeah, look, I mean, like I said, I'm no Stephen Dominici giving me a bit of a wave there. Nice to see. I'm no expert on futsal, but I mean, anyone that's been around Canberra football for a while knows that these guys have applied their trade in futsal for a number of years, and received a number of individual awards and accolades, and been representing at the highest level. So I'd fancy Super Prawns in this game. So we'll see how they go. Just
the Prawns now, Frank. They've dropped the Super from their name.
They've dropped the Super, righto.
A few more grey hairs in the team to our left, I think, than there is.
I noticed that.
In the team to
Trent
our right.
Flanagan and some of the boys there, and Angelo.
Been around for a long time, and Goran Jozefowski in that lineup, and you'll be facing his team as he's head coach of Queanbeyan City on Sunday in the FFA Cup. We'll be there live for Bar TV Sports. Goran Jozefowski won't be. He tells me he's at a christening.
Yeah, I don't trust anything Goran says, but no, look, I've got a lot of time for guys. Have for a number of years. I think he's got a very good football brain, and I think Queanbeyan City have done a very good job to keep him over there, and I think he'll be steering that ship in the right direction, and he will be for a number of years too.
He's going to start as one of the four out on the court, alongside Flanagan, Dominici, and Ryan Keir as well. And Constantine will be in goal. Timberwolves, as we said, the two times that they've played this season,
whenever you're ready, Ange. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, Ange just holding everybody up. Ash Blount, the number 7 there for the Timberwolves, their top goal scorer this season. They'll need him to be at his very best if they're to get something from this. He had a hat-trick the last time these two sides met in round 13. Unfortunately for him, the Prawns scored 6 and Dominici got 4 of them.
Good signs. Good signs.
Yeah, the two matches between them this season, back to goals, 6-4 in round 13, 6-2 to Prawns in round 6, which suggests that goals won't be an issue in this one. Prawns to get us underway. Frank Keisha will be praying that Stephen Dominici gets through unscathed. Never seen an opposition player kick one of his own, but maybe Jozefowski might do that a bit later on.
Well, Goran told me that him and Stephen, going back to Kuma days, their connection is almost telepathic. So
Goran also told me that he's going for his 4th grand final player of the tournament. So we'll see what happens. It's Timberwolves in early possession. Zeitelhofer, that's Thomas Zeitelhofer. Alexovsky. Blount. You'll be able to hear Grant Davin throughout our first half commentary, sitting to Frank Keisha's right. He's injured his ankle and he's coaching tonight. Big loss for the Timberwolves in terms of his experience and quality.
Yeah, he's done his Achilles, he was telling me a few weeks back, and he's been in the moon boot for about 6 weeks now. So
Jozefowski. Flanagan. To slide it through, it should be easy for Richardson. Here's Shepherd. Tried to send that ball down the flank. Shout out for Jamie Richardson for providing me with the Disney tiles tonight. Dominici skipping through and firing the shot in.
good feat from Stephen, wasn't it?
So Angelo bribed us with coffee. Jamie bribed us with Disney tiles, mate.
Angelo wins. I've already got those Disney tiles.
Swapped them on the weekend, didn't you? The old big swap and sale. Here's Dominici. Finds Keir. Lays it off for Flanagan. And Shepherd got in the way. And there's Jozefowski. Early signs are this one's going to be fast and furious.
Yeah, the pace of the game straight away is very noticeable, isn't it?
Dominici with the corner. We'll get to go again. The match official, as I should have mentioned, Scott Boone is referee 1, Richard Brown is referee 2, and Fergus White is the third official this evening for the men's grand final. Flanagan. Keir. Jozefowski. Blount is tight to him. Flanagan again. Couldn't find Keir. Shepherd did enough to ease him off the ball. Blount. Good ball for Alexovsky with a strike straight down the throat of Konstantin, who might get a second chance. And from the angle, it was Zarkelhofer, and Konstantin who pushes it over for a corner.
Two good saves there from Angelo, especially the second one.
Shepherd. Blount, shooting chance for him as well. And Konstantin, 2 World Cups he's been to. Here's Shepherd, and he gets down the keeper to make another good save. Early signs promising for Timberwolves.
Yeah, quite physical encounter compared to obviously the last game. But
Shepherd in front of goal. There's a break on here for Jozefowski. Gets away from Blount, but the challenge was good from Thomas Zarkelhofer.
looks like his brother's about to come on too.
See a couple of Timberwolves changes shortly. We'll see plenty of changes in the men's game because of the pace that it's played at. For those of you tuning in on the weekend, you'll be able to see probably Angelo Konstantinou and Stephen Dominici playing for Camp Olympic in the FFA Cup. Here's Daniel Fulton in on goal. Chance here, and he's put that one wide. Opportunity for Fulton.
It's a big, big chance there for Danny Fulton. Good to see him running around. Another ex-Olympic player, another ex-Futsalroo as well.
I saw him scoring goals aplenty in State League for Tuggeranong United last year as they won the grand final in Division 5, I think it may have been.
Yeah, he's a very, very accomplished player.
Here's a chance for Dominici, real opportunity to open the scoring, and Richardson denies him with a decent save. Advancing quickly from his goal, and Dominici unable to place the ball past Richardson.
Lovely turn there from Stephen. Good ball. 2 really good chances there for the Prawns.
Hitting their stride. Fulton. Flanagan. Keir to Flanagan again. Here's Dominici. Tries to squeeze it through to Fulton. He's going to get a second chance to do so. Fulton. Blount's there, still Fulton. Keir, and he almost squeezed that across goal. Josh Blount needs to leave the field. Forgot to take off his chain. Keir, Dominici, and picked off, and a chance for Southam. Tried to run it down the flank and to run it out of play, Michael Southam.
Yeah, good young player, one that we've got coming through at Olympic. He won our under-20s player of the year last year, and he's on the fringes of that first grade squad.
Fulton stepping over, but being shadowed all the way by Michael Nolan. Nolan won the duel. 6 minutes gone, no score. And on the way to chances so far, it's been Timberwolves who've tested the goalkeeper the most.
They have, but if you just look at those last couple of minutes there where you had Fulton and Dominici running through on goal, the momentum's just maybe slightly changed.
They settled now, haven't they, the Prawns, after a rather wobbly opening.
They look very relaxed though, the Prawns.
It's almost like they've been here and done it before.
I don't know if that's because you've got people like Flanagan and Constantinu running around or walking around.
Well, nothing will fluster them, will they?
I thought so.
They were the top team in the division by 8 points throughout the year. They went through the whole season undefeated. They only drew one match, a 3-3 draw with Boomerang's Blues back in round 2. Scored 75 goals and only conceded 32. Here's a chance for Shepherds.
It's a very good turn there from Shepherd, beat Pat Ross McGee, and then up against Angelo, who's done another good job there.
Wolves haven't struggled for goals either, Frank. 60 goals for, 32 against as well. So both sides score and concede at a similar rate. Matthew Zarkelhofer, Alexovsky. Kier gets a foot in. Zarkelhofer again. Timberwolves have stuttered in recent weeks. They lost 6-3 to Prawns in round 13 and drew 3-3.
Yeah, it's a big chance there.
With NCU Red in round 14 and then won their semi-final on penalties. So they've not been at their free-flowing best, but they've started well.
Yeah, well, if Alexovsky just could get that ball out of his feet there, he's in on goal big time.
Here's Kier. Dominici. Pat Ross McGee's in support. Might be a shooting chance for Fulton, and that wasn't as far away as it looked initially. Richardson, though, had it covered all the way. Changes are plenty from both teams. It's Matthew Zartelhofer. Shepherd with the kick in. Nice feet to get away from Kier. And almost found Zartelhofer down the right-hand side. Pat Ross McGee's on the park now as well, Frank, another player who's had international representation.
He has. Lovely, lovely guy, Pat Ross.
Thumping challenge by Fulton, Alexovsky. A chance here on the far post for Thomas Zartelhofer. Couldn't quite steer it at the target, though.
A little bit of afters there. Alexovsky, I think, with Fulton. We'll keep an eye on that.
Good touch, Dominici. Ross McGee tried to return the favour, but it was well defended by Thomas Zartelhofer. Here he is again. To send it through, but here's an opportunity on the break for Fulton. Ross McGee and Dominici was coming in, and good defending from Shepherd again.
I've been impressed with Shepherd. Even going forward, he's looked pretty tidy with the ball.
Fulton. Saloom. Fulton. Couldn't get away from Zartelhofer. Eli Saloom on for the Prawns. Scored the winning goal in the grand final of about 1972, I think, Eli Saloom.
I was about to say it's another outdoor player of the year, ACT player of the year. I think there's obviously Stevens won it, Eli Saloom's won it, Pat Ross McGee's won it.
Very handy forward back in his day with Canberra Olympic. Huge amount of players with Olympic connections out here.
I think he ended up playing sweeper.
Ross McGee, chance here for Saloom, and his touch lets him down just as we were talking him up. Blames his new shoes.
No, apparently they're not new. He's just told Goran he hasn't been used enough this year.
Slight dig at Goran there, is it? Ten minutes gone, no score. Remember, there is a timeout per half if they want it. Zartelhofer plays it to his brother, but they lose out here, and here's Fulton. Dominici. Fulton. Dominici once more. Slowing it down before looking for that gap. Here's Dominici looking to turn and get away, and Thomas Zeitelhofer just pushed him off the ball and defended him well. Shepherd.
A few yells from the Prawns players for a foul there.
Chance here for Saloom, and Richardson denies him with his feet. And we're straight up the other end with Blount. Denied by Fulton. 3-on-2 briefly. Fulton still going, tries to slide it through and almost found Saloom, but they've left themselves short in transition. Shepherd. Here's Nolan. Shooting chance, goal! First one of the final to Michael Nolan. There was a chance for the Prawns at one end. They coughed up possession. The transition was sharp and fast, and Nolan takes advantage. 1-0 Timberwolves.
Really good goal, well taken. Came from, like you said, Russ, they broke from one end and went to the other, and yeah, really well taken to a near post to score that goal.
Well, the underdogs lead. Michael Nolan's goal gives Timberwolves the advantage in the 12th minute. Keir, what have the reigning champions got in their locker?
Well, this will be a really big test now for the Prawns, because obviously this team that they're up against, they're hungry, haven't won one in 4 or 5 years, and now they've got the lead.
And they've got the organisational skills to take advantage of this as well, you would think, but there's a long, long way to go, and if there is something that the Prawns are very good at, it is scoring goals. Here's Flanagan, great piece of defending from the goal scorer Nolan. Keir. Flanagan. A little Rabona. Perhaps a chance on the break again here for Timberwolves. Zeitelhofer. Or Southern rather, and he found Blount, and his shot is pushed past the corner. And the timeout has been called in the 13th minute, and Frank, it's 1-0 as we watch Michael Southam dancing around, and Blount's shot, which was just deflected wide by Constantinu. The goal from Nolan gives Timberwolves the advantage, and you'd have to say at the moment it's been a decent game, and Prawns have had chances, and so have the Timberwolves. And
yeah, and they've got the bit between the teeth now, the Timberwolves. I think, especially some of the younger guys coming through, this is their a real opportunity for them. If they can maybe get another one now and get themselves 2-0 up, then that's really going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons and test these guys that have been there and done it. So, yeah, interesting to see the next 5 minutes or so.
Semi-finals, Prawns beat O'Connor Knights 6-2. Dominici with a hat-trick, Josefowski with 2, and Fulton. Whereas Timberwolves had to go through a penalty shootout to get past NCU Navy after a 1-1 draw, 4-3 on penalties. Maybe they come into the game a little bit more battle-hardened than a side that's romped their way through the season and won their semi-final quite comfortably. Yeah,
and you see it happen a lot with semi-finals. A team that sort of struggles to get there has, they come in with probably less expectation on them, and they can lift. And like we said, they're 1-0 up now. If they can get the second, then the Prawns team is really going to start asking a lot of questions of themselves, and that's when these guys can settle into the game and maybe defend a big lead.
They go short with the corner. Chance here for 2, and it is 2. So easy. Michael Southam with the goal from the corner. The timeout worked an absolute treat for Grant Daverin and his team. And it opened up for Southam, and he makes it 2-0, and it is a long way back here at the moment for the Prawns. The underdogs lead. 2 in a minute.
And that almost happened from the last corner they had, where they didn't pick up the player in the middle.
Dominici looks to swing it across goal. Now it might break for Alexovsky here. Blount in support. Alexovsky's got Southam on the fast stick if he can find it, but the ball's gone out of play. And you wouldn't say the Prawns are rattled, but they're 2-0 down and time running out in the first half.
Yeah, we just finished saying, like, if you can get that one to become 2, then all of a sudden.
Well, it was a perfect time to call the timeout, wasn't it?
Did very well, Grant Daverin, yep.
One of the more astute futsal tacticians in Canberra. Can't play because of his Achilles problem, but certainly having a bearing on the game so far, and in a coaching capacity. Here's Dominici. Shepherd puts his hand up and was done like a dog's dinner there by Dominici, wasn't he?
Yeah, very good turn. I think this is when you start seeing Stephen can lift, Goran can lift, Trent can lift. I think Ryan Keir's been pretty good in this first half.
Well, Flanagan is dictating the set piece. Jozefowski to his left, Keir on the far post, Dominici on the near post. Richardson wary of the shot, and it is a shot, and Richardson got a hand to it. And it's just smashed at the other end of the park by Matt Zeitelhofer. Jozefowski. Shepherd with the kick in. Here is Shepherd. Looks for Alexovsky. It's turned away, and a chance here for Alexovsky. Is this three? It is! Southam scores again, and the prawns are all over the place. Brilliant turn from Alexovsky, and he's created it an absolute sitter for Southam, and he couldn't miss, and he didn't.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Trent thought he was out. Oh, we missed that on the replay, but yeah, they've absolutely carved him up there. But Trent stopped there.
Flanagan did stop. Alexovsky didn't. Southam didn't. It's Prawns 0, Timberwolves 3. And we didn't see this coming. 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Now, I think it's a critical period now for Timberwolves. If they can just get through now unscathed, don't need to add to the score, but just not concede. It's a winnable lead.
Dominici finds Flanagan. Much to do for those in green. Jozefowski. Keir. Jozefowski. Flanagan. You have to say youth is trumping experience at the moment, Frank.
And they've lifted. You can see, they're 3-0 up and they're buzzing and they're all over the court, and questions are being asked by the Prawns.
Yeah, they're asking questions of each other at the moment. They look a little bit bedraggled. Here's Southam, who's got 2 of the goals, and worth a try. Flanagan looks for the runner, Jozefowski. Alexovsky met it. Shepherd. Alexovsky again, whose skill created that 3rd goal. Steps away from Keir. Finds Southam in supports, and he almost squeezed it into Blount. They're looking good, Nick.
They do. I think it'd be interesting now, the last few minutes of the half, just with Daniel Fulton coming on, because I thought Fulton was one of the prime movers for the Prawns in that first 10 or so minutes. I don't think he was actually on when they scored. So we'll see if that makes a difference.
Well, at 3-0 leads, in most games you'd say it's almost done and dusted, isn't it? But this is the Futsal Grand Final, and we've still got 25 minutes or so to play. Plenty of time for this to turn around. Shepherd behind the latest set piece. Fires it goalwards. A one-handed stop from Constantinu. Here's Fulton. Flanagan. Looks for Dominici. He's penalised, and he's not happy with that decision by Richard Brown. Just explaining to the referee what he thought happens.
Yeah, I think from watching Stephen before, like you can see, he's been saying this for the last few minutes, where he's got hands on him and hasn't been called. So interested to see how Stephen responds. Angelo's obviously trying to calm him down and get his mind back on the game, which is exactly what he needs to do.
Shepherds. Through to Constantinu. Looking for Dominici, won by Shepherd again, who's been very impressive.
He has.
Flanagan. Fulton. Still going, Fulton. Still going, looking for a shooting angle. Can't find one, and he's bundled out of it, and a chance on the break from Matt Zeitelhofer. He's got his brother Thomas in front of him, but it bounced off a green shirt. Here comes Flanagan, and Zeitelhofer puts his foot in the way to deflect it out of play. Coming up to half-time. Timberwolves lead 3-0. Dominici on the turn, looking for a teammate, but forced into the corner. Wins his team a free kick. Shepherd's the one that's bemused now. It is a chance with time ticking away. Fulton behind this free kick. This is a big moment in the final.
This could be a game changer right here.
Looked like a soft free kick from where we were. Fulton behind it. Fulton goes short and Dominici can't steer it in at the near post. They carved them open for a moment there as well.
Did, definitely. I think Stephen will be disappointed he didn't finish that.
You can see it on the replay here, Frank. It was a nice little free kick and Dominici probably should have done better. And here come Timberwolves with Matt Zeitelhofer. Chance for 4. It is 4. Thomas Zeitelhofer.
And like we said, that could have been a game changer there. It could have gone 3-1. Now they're 4-0.
An incredible half of futsal from the Timberwolves. They have turned this one on its head. And that is the last kick of the first half. And what a time to add to the tally, Frank. What a first half. It's not what we expected at all. The side that's been undefeated all season, they've looked like the futsal machine, and they have been in Canberra for many, many years, but they are being taught an absolute lesson by the younger side on the right-hand side.
And they are up and about, these guys at Timberwolves.
Buzzing, and why wouldn't they be? 4-0 at the break. Goals from Michael Nolan and a brace from Michael Southam, and then a fourth right on half-time from Thomas Zeitelhofer. Plenty to do for those in green, but you wouldn't count them out just yet.
No, well, this sets it up for a massive second half now. So these guys have got to come out flying from the very beginning and get themselves on the scoreboard as quickly as they can and then chip away at this lead. What I think these guys need to do at the Prawns is basically not try to win, like not try to get all 4 back straight away. They just need to get one at a time.
There's the fourth goal, Frank, just as we're watching it there. What a great bit of play from Matt Zeitelhofer to take it out, draw this man here, and then just feeds his brother. Still had plenty to do from that angle, but he's finished it well.
And let's be honest, it's not a mug that he's actually taken out. That's Daniel Fulton. You know, that's he's a very accomplished futsal player. He's played overseas.
Sharing the brotherly love, Matthew Zeitelhofer might have had a go himself.
They've both been very good. There's been some standouts there for the Timberwolves there. They've Michael Southam 2 goals, and I've been very impressed with Shepherd.
Very heated discussion at the moment. It's not a bad discussion, but Stephen Dominici is trying to explain to him what he thinks that Will Shepherd's been doing to him throughout the match, and we're having a bit of almost like a drama role play here. The referee discusses it with the players involved. Hans Constantine's in there as well.
It's good to see Will Shepherd in there as well. I guess he's
arguing his corner, and quite rightly so.
I think anyone watching this would say, well, at least it's amicable. It's not done disrespectfully. Both sides of the story are being told,
yeah.
And there's no real feeling there. It's just both players trying to get a message across, and hopefully the refs take that.
Asking for some clarification from the match officials, and I think they were getting it as well from Richard Brown and Scott Boone. So, 20 minutes between Timberwolves and a grand final victory against the odds. They are 4-0 up, if you've just tuned in the men's futsal grand final, a game in which the Prawns entered as big favourites.
Nearly a game changer.
Here come Timberwolves. Blount can't keep that in play. Saloon looks to turn Shepherd, who gets a foot in, and he's been outstanding, Shepherd, hasn't he?
Yeah, very good.
One of the best players on the court so far for me. Here's Fulton. And that's a bit of an error from Elias Saloon there. Alexowski chips it forward, looking for Blount with a spectacular effort. Overhead kick from Blount, it was incredible. Didn't quite get hold of it, but it would have been goal of this or any other season. It's a good effort from Blount, isn't it? I mean,
we said they were up and about.
Well, here's a chance for Nolan to get the ball down. It's towards Shepherds. Looks for Blount down the line, couldn't find him. Flanagan. It's Blount. Timberwolves started the second half as they would have liked. Shepherd's ball forward, nice one too, finds Nolan.
And I think this is really going to open up now.
Here's a chance for Alexowski, and he's got it all wrong. Just got under the shot. But it was another chance for Timberwolves to add to their advantage.
Yeah, you got Goran here on the sideline for Prawns, really sort of pushing these guys to get forward and getting a player up at the top.
But it's been a long time that the Prawns went 20 minutes plus without scoring a goal.
Be even longer since they've been 4-0 down.
Yeah, wouldn't like to know the last time that was. I can't remember it in all my time watching futsal. They're generally 4-0 up and cruising, but they have being asked to chase this one. You've been taught a bit of a futsal lesson by the Timberwolves at the moment, who've played brilliantly on the counter, taken advantage of any mistakes that the Prawns have made, and scored 4 unanswered goals.
Trent Flanagan just dragged himself, I thought.
Fulton looks to step away from Alexowski. Keir's coming up in support. Here is Ryan Keir. Touch let him down, and Blount can come away. And he goes past Fulton, who brings him down and won't escape a yellow card for that one.
Thought Ryan Keir may have taken that first time, you know.
He shaped to, didn't he? But didn't in the end, and coughed up possession, and Fulton took one for the team there, I think.
Yep.
Blount looked like he was going to get away because he had Alexowski in support. That's a nice free kick, but Scott Boone asked him to go again. Beautifully weighted chip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice.
He's going to get the chance to do it again. Blount's the only option ahead of him at the moment. Might go for goal himself on this occasion, he does. But couldn't keep it down. 4 minutes already ticked by, and the Prawns have made no inroads. Jozefowski's challenge with Shepherd. Here is Shepherd again. Deflects off Goran Jozefowski and out of play.
They'll need to score soon. I mean, I know we're probably...
There's a chance for Nolan. Didn't get it on the turn. 4.5 minutes of the second half has already ticked away. Live futsal grand final, men's Premier League. Prawns 0, Timberwolves 4. The second of the 2 matches tonight. We've already seen Boomerangs win the women's grand final in different circumstances to this. They won 2-0.
Body language isn't great here from the Prawns either.
Are they seeing their crown slip away? Blount looks for Shepherds. He was happy to let the ball take the deflection and will take his time. As you said, Frank, no need to add to the scoreline at the moment. And then they did shortly after you said that.
Well,
Zeitelhofer got the 4th goal. To Matt Zeitelhofer, there's Thomas Zeitelhofer again. Ross McGee got in the way. Keir finds Fulton. Only Jozefowski ahead of him. Keir. Under hit pass again. Zeitelhofer steps away, but here's Constantinu.
it's actually hard to see where the Prawns are going to score from. Dominici not on.
They haven't looked likely, have they, for a while?
No, I think the main threat was Stephen Dominici, and
he had the best chance, didn't he? Richardson denied him at 0-0.
Him and Fulton, and then Dominici just before Timberwolves went 4-0 up with 3-1 from a free kick.
It's not been their night so far, but 15 minutes or so to change things around. Thomas Zeitelhofer finds Southam, who goes through, and Constantinu denies him, sliding out to make the challenge. Shepherd just hooks that one back. Has he been on the whole game, Shepherd? I think he has.
I think so, yeah.
Good engine as well. Decent player.
Yeah, been very impressed.
Keir. Now Dominici. Here to Fulton. Once again, Fulton, brilliant skill. Great feet to go past the challenge and wins his team a corner. We might see Big Ange going up to get involved in the attack at some stage. Doesn't mind getting involved further forwards, the goalkeeper. Kier, Dominici. Blue shirts around him like a rash. And Kier's forced to go all the way home. Fulton. Jozefowski. Zeitlhofer in there, and Jozefowski wanted the foul, didn't get it. Dominici is playing on. 3 blue shirts around him whenever he gets anywhere near the ball, Stephen Dominici.
Yeah, they've done a really good job defending. Here's a chance.
Kier wins the ball. Dominici finds Jozefowski, and Dominici's in the middle, and he couldn't get it out of his feet either. You can see the challenges are becoming a little bit more feisty now, Frank, as the Prawns become a little bit more desperate. 13 minutes or just under to find a way back into a contest in which they are being outplayed at the moment. Blount's can't keep it in play. Fulton. Dominici. Kier. Tries his luck, but the toe poke always going over the crossbar. Southam. Straight away, it's a green shirt coming back. Here's Fulton on the turn and tried to squeeze it past Richardson at the near post, but the keeper had that one covered.
Might have been better off trying to cut that over to Goran.
Yeah, Jozefowski's arriving late. Blount unmarked in front of goal. May have got the shout to bring that down.
I mean, apart from the scoreboard now, the clock's really against these guys as well. They're 4-0 down. Even if they do get one back, they're going to struggle to...
In just under 11 minutes, Frank, and...
it'll need some sort of turnaround, let's be honest.
It will be a miraculous turnaround if they can pull it out the far from here. Here's Jozefowski. Wins a free kick on that occasion, a foul by Tony Alexovsky. Urgency for the Prawns. Jozefowski. That's not what he wants. Now here's Blount, and Fulton needed to make the challenge, and he needed to make it well because he's already on a yellow card. Here's an opportunity, and it's been wasted by Stephen Dominici.
Big tackle there, Daniel Fulton in the middle of the park.
If he hadn't timed that right, he was walking.
Yeah, because he's already on a yellow too. From the foul on Blount.
Absolutely. And another error from the Prawns. Flanagan this time. It's unravelling for them. Dominici. Head down, off he goes, straight into the challenge of Zeitlhofer, and Alexovsky's in there to win it back as well. He showed some real determination today. Fulton, though, wins the ball back for those in green. Jozefowski to Fulton, goes down under the challenge from Alexovsky. Free kick. 10 minutes to go. Jozefowski behind it.
He must have been getting close to pulling out a yellow for the last couple of indiscretions there.
Dominici again, standing on the post. He's trying to get in the eye line of Richardson. Jozefowski's behind it, Fulton's behind it as well. And Dominici is having a heated chat with the referee once again. And he's not a happy boy, is he?
No, not at all.
Not happy at all, and very rarely you see Stephen Dominici this flustered. Doesn't want to get himself sent off.
No, it'd be interesting here, because I mean, I think he's acknowledged it about 3 or 4 times to say, yeah, we can get on with it, and they keep on calling him back. So
well, the time keeps ticking away while they're doing so as well, which doesn't help.
Doesn't help anyone.
So Jozefowski is going to line this one up, and he fires it goalwards, blocked by Blount. I'm not sure if a red card here would count on the weekend, would it?
Oh, let's hope not.
Here is Dominici laying it off to Flanagan, and Richardson was already led down and saves it with his feet, and it's been one of those nights for Prawns in front of goal. They cannot find a way through this Timberwolves wall. And it's going to be one-way traffic, you think, for the last 10 minutes, isn't it? With the Timberwolves happy to play on the break.
Well, they can play on the break. massive lead.
Dominici on the turn, and he tried to roll it across the face of goal, and there was no one there. No need for the Timberwolves to add to the 4 first half goals they've got. Nolan, Southam with 2, and Thomas Zeitelhofer. And they're in the box seat in a big, big way. 8 minutes between them and a trophy they've craved for a number of years.
Well, it's theirs. It's theirs to lose now. I mean, they're 4-0 up.
The damage done in the first half. Thomas Zeitelhofer won that ball, but was called up for a free kick, and the Prawns need to get on with it. And Richard Brown calls them back. Ball was rolling, I think. Flanagan. Not but it is Imperious best tonight, has he, Trent Flanagan? Some of his passes have gone a bit astray.
Yeah, he has. He's been a little bit off tonight, I think, Trent. I think he'd be one of the first ones to admit it too.
He dragged himself off earlier on because his passing wasn't up to his scratch. Jozefowski, good challenge in the middle of the park. And the Timberwolves have the adrenaline buzzing, as you'd expect from a side who can see the finish line. It's well within their grasp right now. Fulton. Blount got a foot in. Flanagan wants to get on with it. Fulton again. Tries to step through but loses out. Now his Blount, it's 3-on-2, but now it's 3-on-1 the other way. This is a real opportunity for Flanagan in front of goal, and again they're denied by Blount scrambling and Richardson's goalkeeping.
Yeah, I think there's certain days you just know it's just not going to happen for you, I think the Prawns are almost at that stage now.
They'll keep fighting to the end though, you'd think. Here's Fulton.
Oh, they're a proud team. They're not going to give it up.
Here is Fulton again, and another good piece of defending from Zeitelhofer. Jozefowski. Fulton. Jozefowski once more. And even he can't force his way through. Richardson for Timberwolves. Good ball out towards Nolan, who chipped it goalwards and was caught late by Fulton, who's already on a yellow. And the referee wants a word. Is this a final warning for Daniel Fulton? It probably is. You think he would have got the card out by now if he was going to. Timberwolves won't mind so much because this ticks away a few more seconds.
I'm betting if he didn't have a yellow already, that would have been a yellow.
Here it is. And yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? Looks like a yellow card every day of the week. Dodges a bullet there, Daniel Fulton. Probably the first thing that's gone right for them this evening.
Yeah, they just don't want it. They don't want to. Yeah, they don't want it to completely unravel. I mean, I know that they'll be disappointed, but they're.
Zeitelhofer. Southam almost found Nolan, and it was a good foot in from Fulton.
Very good footing.
Needed
good,
to be.
Good awareness from Angelo to keep that from the corner.
Flanagan to Dominici. Just over 5 minutes to go. Ross McGee. Flanagan. Gets it back from Dominici. Goes the aerial route to Ross McGee. Once more Flanagan. Ross McGee. Jozefowski. The man-to-man marking from the Timberwolves has been excellent this evening, hasn't it? They haven't given the players an inch.
But it was one of the first times that Prawns have actually kept the ball and been a little bit patient.
Dominici, nice turn and a good shot, but it's just wide of goal. As you mentioned or alluded to a couple of moments ago, Frank, it just doesn't look like it's going to be their night in front of goal. Maybe saving them all up. He'd be very angry for the cup tie on Sunday.
Yeah, but so will Goran.
But Goran won't be there. He has a christening to go to, as we mentioned before. Here's Dominici almost to bring that ball down. That's looking a bit heads as the ball's out of play. 4 minutes to play. Charity Shield, Friday night, Canberra FC, Gungahlin United live from Deakin Stadium. For those of you interested in tuning in for that one from 6:30 Saturday afternoon, 3:15 Balcony United, Canberra FC in the Women's Premier League Round 1, and doubleheader FFA Cup action on Sunday. Canberra Olympic versus Queanbeyan City and Cooma Tigers versus Monero Panthers. Loads to look forward to on Bar TV Sports, as always, the home of grassroots sports in Australia. Here's Alexowski. He gets in at the second attempt. He's been all over the place as well, hasn't he?
He has. Going to be a busy boy this weekend, Russ.
Won't be able to talk by Monday. Some would say that's a good thing, Frank. Love a bit of football on Bar TV. Here's Jozefowski. Flanagan's shot deflected. Happy to concede the corner. And even with 3.5 minutes to go, you can't see any way back for the Prawns from here. Even if they were to score within the next 10 seconds or so.
No, they needed one early in the second half.
They played it perfectly. Here's Shepherds looking to get past Ross McGee and happy to win the corner. He'd be up there for player of the match, you'd think, Will Shepherds?
Yeah, I believe so. He's done a very good job. As has the young bloke here, Michael Southam, scoring a brace. But I mean, I don't think, if you speak to Grant Daverin right now, I don't think he'd be able to pick a bad play for his side.
They've all needed to stand up and they've done so. Everyone's done their parts. Here's Jozefowski, shepherded out of play by Alexowski, who's another who's been in exceptional form. Constantinu, first time we've seen him in the opposition half. Flanagan. Oh, and there's a problem here, and Constantinu's missed it. And Jozefowski got out of it. There's Blount goalwards, there was no one home.
Angelo's hurt.
And Angelo Constantinu is down in the middle of the park with just over 2 minutes to go. And the big fella's maybe rolled an ankle in the tackle. He looks in a lot of pain there, Frank, and that's not good news for you.
It's not good news.
Here's the replay. We see it here. It was a loose ball. He's rolled his ankle there before he's even got to the challenge, hasn't he?
Yep.
Stepped into it, and yeah, it doesn't look good for the goalkeeper. Blount had an open goal. He couldn't quite find it. Fulton's got the goalkeeping kit on, but Constantinu's still down and in a bag full of pain. And he's got a big frame, hasn't he? So when he rolls, when you go over on that ankle, there's a lot of weight that's gone through it.
Good at all.
And it's not like Angelo Constantinu to stay down. Time is off, of course. I stop my clock with about 1 minute and 20 seconds, or sorry, 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so to go. And there's Angelo Constantinu. Need a couple of those physios that you were talking about from the first game there, Frank. Ben Keating or Michaela Day to get out there and have a look, because he's not moving and he is in a lot of pain.
You'd think they'd be able to try to get him off somehow.
It depends what he's done, because a huge amount of, like I say, a big frame that's gone through that ankle. If it's an Achilles or something like that, it could be even worse than just a roll. But it didn't look good, did he?
No, not at all.
Went down in a heap. I don't know if you caught that, Frank, but Daniel Fulton suggested that he's run out of cheeseburgers at Macca's. He's going to get himself a chance to play in goal, Daniel Fulton. Yeah. Needs to do something to help his team. They're 4-0 down with 2 minutes to go. It's looking unlikely for them. And yeah, it couldn't get any worse for you as an Olympic coach and seeing your goalkeeper down there in a heap, Frank, and busily texting away the substitute goalkeepers, eh?
Texting someone.
Who's your options? Mason Intolanti?
Yeah, Mason.
George Christos?
Yeah, young James Christos.
James Christos, yeah.
Yeah.
But this isn't good. This is not what we like to see. Angelo Constantinu is going to limp off the field. He's putting a bit of weight on it, so I suggest it might just be a roll.
Let's hope so.
Bit of ice on that. It's not the way he would have wanted to end his evening. Didn't get much sympathy from his teammates, did he? We will get back underway for the final moments, which are going to be a little bit of a procession, to be honest. About to restart. And it will be a corner. Alexowski got the shot in. So Fulton in nets. Finds Ross McGee. It's a little short for Flanagan, but he gets there. Dominici tries to find Saloom, and even he can't force a way through it. Shepherds on the break, a chance, and that's off the hand of Ross McGee. And that'll be a free kick, and entering the last 90 seconds or so, that pretty much sums up their evening.
That does, yeah, it absolutely does. And I fancy Michael Southam have a strike. He's got a really good strike on goal, this kid. He'll test out Daniel Fulton, I expect.
But he's on two, and he fires it goalwards, and Fulton does well to get the body behind it to concede the corner. He's there again, Southam. Here's Saloom. dancing, but in the wrong part of the field, and his pass goes astray, and we're entering the final 70 seconds or so, and it's going to be the Timberwolves' year. Finished the competition second on the ladder, 8 points, as I said, behind the Prawns, but that semi-final in which they had to fight the whole way last week before going through on penalties has certainly stood them in good stead. And they started off like a house on fire today, got 4 goals in the first half, and since then they've looked relatively comfortable. Here's Blount looking to finish it, and perhaps he should have. The top goal scorer had a chance to add his name to the list of scorers, but he's fizzed that one wide.
Big chance there to put the icing on the cake, but I don't think it'll matter now. It's
It certainly doesn't. The whistle goes, and it is the Timberwolves who have done a job on the Prawns this evening, Frank. And not what we expected from the kickoff, but they have played almost a perfect game of futsal there. They took the lead with that goal from Nolan after 12 minutes, and Grant Davron called that timeout, and that was just before the corner. And whether or not he had a chance to do a routine off that corner, and maybe that's what they were talking about, it worked for them. Michael Southland made it 2-0. He later added a third, and then right on half-time, just after Dominici missed the chance to make it 3-1, Thomas Eitelhoff has made it 4. Incredible end to the first half. Incredible match, totally, Frank. And you think Timberwolves deserve winners?
Yeah, well, I mean, 4-0, you can't really dispute, you can't really dispute the result, and 4-0 is, speaks for itself. I think both teams battled really hard. I think definitely the Prawns were down on their normal performance, and individually they probably all would be looking at themselves thinking they could have done a lot better than what they did. So let's see how that.
So thanks for your coverage this evening, Frank. It's been great having you here. It's been an interesting match and 2 interesting games. We saw the Boomerangs win the women's competition. We'll be back on Sunday. We'll see you on Sunday for FFA Cup football. You'll be wanting to pop off and see how your goalkeeper is, I'd imagine.
Absolutely, yes.
Just a reminder, Canberra Olympic versus Queanbeyan City ahead of Tigers versus Panthers on Sunday, FFA Cup. But this evening, it's all been about men's futsal Premier League Grand Final, and it's all been about the Timberwolves. 4 goals in the first half. Michael Nolan with the first, a brace from Michael Southam, and one right on half-time from Thomas Zietelhofer. After that, the Prawns tried to get their way back into it, couldn't. Lost their goalkeeper, Angelo Constantinu, to an injury. And in the end, those guys on your screen are deserved winners. The full-time score, the Prawns 0, Timberwolves 4.
He'll hate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Emma Selsey, the new competition coordinator, competition manager, to help me with tonight's presentation. The first award of the evening is the Golden Boot Award for most goals during the regular season, and that goes to Prawns goal scorer Stephen Dominici. Stephen scored 19 goals throughout the normal season. Our next award is the Player of the Match for tonight's Grand Final, awarded by Emma, Ross commentator, and Megan Lane. The award tonight goes to Timberwolves' Michael Southern. We'd like to continue the ceremony by recognising the referees for their excellent job they have done tonight and throughout the season. The referees on tonight's match were Scott Boone, Richardson Brown, and Fergus White. We'd like to call up the captain of the runners-up team Prawns to collect their awards. Please welcome Dan Futsal.
Thank you. Can I just say thank you to Timberwolves first? You guys were awesome tonight. I don't think we can fault you. You played outstanding and you figured out how to get around us. And we did a lot of running tonight and you kept us out. I can't remember the last time we haven't scored, so congratulations on winning. Guys, Stevie, Trent, Ryan, Paddy, and Ange.
Thank you, Prawns. I'm sure you'll come back better than ever next season. I'd like to call up the winning team's captain, Jamie Richardson from Timberwolves.
I just want to thank the Prawns. They've been the benchmark of futsal for the last decade, and they make us all want to be better and play like them. So we had to play outstanding today, so thanks for the game, guys. And my boys, I can't be prouder. I've got the best bunch of guys that turn up every week. I send them messages at 6 o'clock in the morning, reminding them of the game. I'm just so proud of them, so thanks for keeping turning up, and you've got to defend it next year. Brent, Will, Tony, Ash, Mark, Nick, Tom, and Matthew.
Congratulations, Timberwolves, on a fantastic season, well deserved. That concludes our presentations for this evening. Congratulations to all teams and award winners. Capital Football would also like to thank Bar TV for assisting with tonight's streaming and our presenters and staff. And thank you all for your attendance tonight and support for Futsal Premier League 2018-19. Don't forget you can catch all the action from tonight's match on Capital Football Facebook and our YouTube channels. Thank you very much. We'll see you next year.